Hi. 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 Hi.
Hi. I was watching that too. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody, also from me. So, a lot of chatters have already arrived. Let's see. My computer is a little bit lame today. We have Chairman Jamie, Buktia Shar, Calvin Thurston, Jocelyn Trickle, and Falcons are here. So, hello and welcome, everybody. Also, welcome to everybody who is not in the chat, just watching. So, Cecil is happy to see you.
Sea salt. Sea salt. Sea salt. Sugar bird. Sugar.
That
What you
was
doing,
a
Jug?
lovely welcome by a sugar bird. Shuggy. Oh, you look good.
Hi, baby.
Is Sugar saying, go away? You are in my parrot space.
There's times when she thinks that. Not right now. She sees me holding the phone, so he's not serious about petting my beak, I don't think. Right, Jug? And Cecil's giving me a hug under my neck.
Oh, what
Aren't
a
you,
beautiful
Cecil?
kitty.
Aren't you,
So
Cecil?
I've discovered we have Sugar in and Cecil in. Are there further birds?
Yeah, we got Lucy
The goose.
and Jazzy Jazzbird.
Oh, hiding back there.
And I don't know where Snowball is. Lately,
He's
he's
right in
been.
front of you.
Oh, there he is. That's what.
I was
That.
That was funny. Like, I don't see Snowball. Like, he's in the focus of where you hold the camera.
Figures. That's where I put him too. He hasn't left there. He's just.
That's the reason why we don't see Steve, because he's basically sitting right there.
Yeah, Mander wouldn't come in. I can't bring Lorelei in with Cecil because he's destroying her feathers, so I can't have her in here. KK would be fine, but if Jasmine decides to run over, then I have to throw the phone because he's not going to let Jasmine get too close. He doesn't care what Sugar does. Sugar doesn't faze him at all, but Jasmine gets a little pushy, and he doesn't like that. We could try it, I suppose. She's way over there. Let me try it. Let me grab him. I had somebody stop and deliver papers today. They've got their new TV, by the way. The other one faded out, and it's not an expensive TV because Jeff Bezos funds those things. The TVs are less. What was it? $167. But it's 4K and all that bells and whistles and all that stuff because he's hoping you're going to buy all your movies from him and all the other stuff too, right? He gets a percentage on, right? Hello. Actually, it's a good TV. Lucy was watching it. She came out, but she was actually staring at the TV watching Avatar, the second one. Yeah. What kind of bird?
Oh my gosh.
Bird. It says, "Oh, you brought me out early."
Yeah, I think we don't have to talk anymore. Cecil, KK is doing that now for us.
He's a chatterbox. What's up? He's a little surprised. He's not. He knows that he's on the second routine. But now he's out. So. And Bob, I tried him out with Lorelei. That lasted for 45 minutes. And then he started playing his routine. And I could see he was getting ready to get aggressive, so I had to put him up. So right now, Bob has to come up by himself so we can go outside again. And that looks like it's going to be at least a week away before we get warmer weather. You having fun down there digging, buddy boy? Hey, Cecil. Come on up. Hi, Buktiar Shah. Hi, Jocelyn. Hi, Calvin. Hey, be nice, you guys. Oh, it was just, you walked in when he was kicking, you silly bird. Hi, Falcon Sue. You guys. Yesterday they were under here, both of them. And it was.
Oh yeah, Cecil.
It was the Cecil yesterday.
Again.
Yep. These guys. I was talking to another rescuer that has a female eclectus that just doesn't want to be around anybody else. It's bonded with another human and talking about what you can do when you have a bird that says, "Go away, you're in my space." The last bird I had like that was a double yellow-headed Amazon. And I was told I would never be able to handle him. No man can do it. And 2 weeks later, he was sitting on my shoulder in the aviary. So it's a basic technique, one that Jennifer Zelig in her Animal Training 101 suggests for every animal you deal with, which is basically coming by and giving them the treat that's out of their diet that they're definitely going to want when you hand it to them. So you do that occasionally. That's come bearing gifts. And the other one is, plop down in a chair and look at the bird for a second. As long as the bird keeps looking straight at you, give it a treat, and then work it up to 30 seconds or a minute. By the time you get to 30 seconds, you pretty much got their attention. But you can get it up to a minute, then you can more or less teach them anything. As our dear friend Brad in Australia said, well, of course she can train those animals. They're all paying attention to her. Yeah, she trained them to do that. And this one likes to train me, don't you? You're good at it. He was being, I would say the word is obstreperous, but he was just looking at me and his favorite thing in the morning is a little stick with a little bit of peanut butter on it. But he would just look at me and not do anything. So I started to count down. And when I got to 1, I'd walk away. So I was 3, 2, 1. So now he won't eat the peanut butter unless I do the countdown. You are something else. You really are. So he was nipping at me to get attention. And so now he doesn't do that anymore. I've trained him out of that. Instead, what he does is constantly take his foot and scrape at me, which is his way of getting. I have to pet him when he does that. So now it's like, oh, blood pressure button. Okay, pet me. Okay, pet me. He does this all the time now, don't you? You're good at ABA there, kid. You're good at it. You're good at it, boy. And this one up here does it too. I'll look in her cage, and if she has a toy in there, no, it's she has multiples, but she has a toy she's done with. She sits by it. When I look at her, she stares at me. Replace this. So the toy may look like it's still usable, but if she's done with it, she gives you that face, stares at you. Take it out of here. Give me another one. Which, of course, is what I want her to do. So no complaint there. She figured it out pretty fast, though. If I look at her and she stands by a toy, the same with these guys and their food. If there's something specific they want and it isn't in there, they'll look at you, sit by their bowl and look at you. But when you're dealing with some parrot that basically says, go away, I don't want you here, and sometimes they lunge, which they've been taught to do that because it's not something they do in the wild, but they'll lunge at you or they'll go to the back of the cage and they want nothing to do with you. The trick there is to find that little morsel that they like, take it out of their diet, and just come by once in a while and give it to them. So at first, if they're the kind of bird that tries to bite you, again, it's not normal behavior. It's an aberrant behavior. So if they start doing that, you can't blame the bird for it. But what you can do then is just walk up, make sure you have a bowl right where you can get to it and drop it in that one bowl that's only for treats. But eventually you want to be able to hand it to them. You want to be able to bring your hand back intact, though, your fingers still on your hand. And you can do this in using protected contact, which is they're inside their cage. If they'll come out and they only have certain circumstances where they get pushy, then you can use those circumstances to come bearing gifts. Time it according to the best time to get their attention in a positive way. Just kind of imagine if your boss were to walk by and hand you $100 bill when he came by. After a while, you'd kind of like to see your boss, right? Most people who are working, I would say the majority, don't want to see the um, fascist king of the business, whoever that may, or fascist queen of the business, because businesses are run like they're run like a fascist country. They have one person in charge, and the generals underneath, and everybody has to do what they're told. That's the way it is. So most people don't want to see that fascist walk up but if they walk up and hand you $100, and say nice work 2 or 3 times a day, after a while you're like, oh, here comes the boss, cool. So kind of think of it that way. And after all, I mean, we are their jailers. They don't belong in cages. But if you let them out, either you will die or they will die. I say you will die because when they clip that electrical cord and set fire to something, or because they're just doing what birds do, which is they're interested and they're trying to figure stuff out. Be gentle now. You guys be gentle. Good boys. Good boys. So those 2 tips are from early on in the Jennifer Zellig's Animal 101 training class online. And those 2 will get you through a lot of issues. Because the biggest thing is getting them to pay attention. Can you imagine if you had a 13 or 14-year-old kid in your house and they actually listen to you? It's just, it might work for them too, if you think about it. Instead of going, have you done your homework, you walk in and hand them their favorite treat, whatever that may be. Who knows what kids eat these days? Hand them their favorite treat and say, how's it going? Then they're going to start like, oh, here comes Dad. Here comes Mom. Instead of, oh, they're going to be telling me what to do again. So if you think about it that way, that principle does work. I mean, these kind of principles were developed to work with autistic children. And then later on, animal behaviorists started using them to work with animals. Using these principles, I could work with lions or tigers, or even worse, hyenas. It would work on zebras too, but they're so what's the word for zebras? You misjudge one circumstance, and your teeth might be all knocked out of your head. But it'll work for any animal, including those human animals. Right, Cecil? Cecil knows. He's mastered the techniques, haven't you? Hmm? Hmm? He's doing the calm attention on me right now.
Oh, that's super cute.
Yeah, he does it. I mean, I obviously I've used calm attention on him, and he does it back at me. Looks at me, just keeps looking at me and looking at me. That's just what I've done to him. So.
Mm. Cecil, you are such a sweet bird.
A big fire in California. Oh, that never happens. I have a video, wasn't taken by me. I managed to get it off of Twitter, but by a fire company that was 11 miles from where I was living at the time. And it's one of those fire tornadoes. It's going up about 35 feet, and it's just this tornado of fire going around. That's California now. It's a year-round fire state. So they used to have the fire, they had fire season. Now it's just all year. There he went. He's under here again. I got to watch Cecil so Cecil doesn't try to nip through the canvas. He likes going under there. Silly bird. Silly bird. Cute. Cute bird. Silly. Yeah, if there's two techniques that everybody should have in their bag of tricks, it's those two. Because if you do them and you do them consistently, I've not heard of any case where they didn't work. So there are a lot of other things, but that's what I would definitely start with. And it's easy. I mean, all you have to do is walk by once in a while, be pleasant, and hand something. I mean, how tough is that? Well, it might be tough. I know a lot of parents can't do that with their kids. You know, you haven't done your homework yet. You know, that really is a positive thing to say. It gets you a lot of accolades from the younger set. Why don't you get off TikTok and actually finish your homework? Um, what do you think, Snowball? Snowball's doing better, by the way. He's a little sleepy right now, but he's been playing. No more coughing.
That a great news, Snowball.
He's eating. He's maintaining his weight. He's not plucking. I mean, all the good things you want to hear. Right now, he's going to snore, though. Usually, you'll get a little more play out of him, but what are you doing under there? Can I see your face? Oh, there's that face. There's that face. That's a cute face. This one, I had a bigger cage for him. Yeah, paid $300 for the darn thing, sight unseen, and it was definitely bigger. The problem was, like most cages, it was tack welded, and this guy has decided he knows how to take apart tack welded cages. So after the third bar got pulled off of it, I put him in the only other cage. I thank you, Cecil, for touching my arm. I know what that means. Yes, it means I have to stop everything and pet Cecil.
And Mr. KK just disappeared under the blanket.
Yeah, he likes being under there.
Sweetie.
So now he doesn't like to go in his cage, so I have it's a dish towel. It's not a big towel. I toss it over him, and then I put him in his cage, and he's fine with that. But he won't go into his cage otherwise. He needs one like Bob and Lorelei, and those are $1,300 cages. That's what he needs, though. Those are tack welded too, but because the bars are so much bigger, um, he probably won't be able to pull them apart. Cecil can. Cecil will pull them apart. Yes, I know. Keep petting you. Keep petting you. I know. There's the other way too, which is to open his beak and touch me with his tongue. That means pet me more. Pet me more. I don't. I'm not even sure he really wants to be petted. It may just be he wants to direct me to do something. A measure of control in their lives. It's kind of nice to have, isn't it? That's where in ABA the word operant conditioning is. You teach them to operate in their own world and make their own choices in a good way. Yeah, you don't teach them to eat electrical cords and tear up curtains and stuff, but I'd see so. You silly. See if I can get him to do that while you guys are watching. So, Jocelyn, where is Mendley? I haven't heard of it. I know of Menifee, but I don't know about Mendley. Are you going to do it? You know, he's not going to do it now. I'm pointing the camera at him. Come on, show him what you do. It's like the watched pot that never boils. You're not going to do it? You're not going to do it? Just can't get him to do what you want him to do on cue. I'm like, he doesn't have a cue for that, so. Oh, come on. Close your eyes. What are you doing? Okay, I'll turn the camera away and he'll start doing it again. Don't you laugh at me. He was about to reach over. He turned around like he was going to touch me, and then he pointed the camera at him and he stopped. Mm-hmm. You know what you're doing. I know you know what you're doing. Hi, KK. Not a chance. Okay, well, I'm going to point the camera at you all day, silly bird. Actually, he's a smart boy. He knows what he's doing. What are you doing? What are you doing,
Indeed.
Faye?
Oh, look, KK in his little nest. This
When I was
boy
dealing,
likes playing under the blanket. Oh my.
yeah,
Have you
it's
ever tried to
10.
have a blanket in his cage?
No,
No good idea, probably.
I don't know how. I'm not sure that's a good idea. He
I don't
probably
know,
like.
maybe a super little tent somehow. I don't know. Barbie tent is probably a little too small, but some other doll tent so he can go inside.
Silly boy. You are just a silly boy. Yeah, he know when I put him on the table and that where all the papers are stacked right now. I put him on that table and I throw a towel over him, and then I just pick him up and he goes. He's fine with it. It's like, okay, this is the only way I'm going into that cage. That really is too small for him. I know some people would say it was okay, but he needs more space.
Hop. Now Cecil visiting his friend OKK.
So if you take that Animal Training 101, it'll teach you to train anyone, including your family. Um, there's a ton of stuff that you can learn by observing, and it gives you a good basis to understand why you can use these techniques. I mean, she doesn't talk like someone who's how do I put it? You know, those boring lecturers. You know, she kind of sounds like she's an airhead the way she talks, but she's not. Trust me. I've got her book, Animal Training 101. This is not an airhead. She knows exactly what she's doing. She just has a chatty way of describing things. Then she shows you how to do things. And she shows you what mistakes look like and how to fix them. And you can learn fun things like how to take blood from a hyena. If there's one animal on the planet would be likely to take your head off, it's a hyena. They just are not friendly animals. But one of her students is taking blood from a hyena. Protected contact. The animal has its neck up against the bars, but still, I mean, it could get you through the bars, and it's not. It's just she shows you how to do it. She gives you a lot of good tips. I use them. I use them frequently when I'm working with a bird. If I do something that disturbs the bird, I just withdrew something from our behavioral bank account. So then you try to find ways to put more coins back in, more positive things for the bird to. You want to have a balance that's positive. That's the one I have to think about the most with is Bob because he's fine with a few controls outside, but inside he just gets out of control. Not towards me. Not like he's going to turn around and bite me, but he might bite another bird, which can't have that. What are you guys doing in there? I think they call this a tailgater party. What are you waiting for a sports event in there or something? Hmm? Sugar? Sugar. What are they doing? She's too busy preening.
Is Sugi standing on one foot again, huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, she does a lot
Sugi.
of that.
Yeah, that's
Does a lot
cool.
of.
She has gained back so much balance over the years since she has her feathers back.
She was a lot like Romeo in that respect because of the way her wings were chewed up. She couldn't use them to balance herself as she's
Hey,
doing
look.
now.
Oh, now she's doing for us the super stretch. Yeah, and showing us her long legs. Mm, and a rouse. Oh my Sugi. And now we're doing the other feet.
I've had to. Well, Peaches, I had to preen her because she couldn't preen herself. So there's a lot of feathers there. You don't really know until you have to do the preening. Mm. Which I was discussing with another rescuer who lives in town today about people who make comments when they don't understand. Quite frequently, when I started doing this, I get comments like, "Well, you say this, but you do that," you know. And I kind of laughed because she had the same problem, and I said, "My response to that is do what I say, not what I do." And the reason is that there are extenuating circumstances in every case where I do something that I tell other people not to do. But if you pet a bird improperly, under most circumstances, you're going to develop problems, territoriality, and then biting issues and that kind of thing. And
Yeah, on the other hand, if you have a bird who cannot preen itself on some areas because like Peaches had neck problems, you basically have to preen the bird, otherwise it gets problems with stuck feathers and enlarged pin feathers. So
yeah, they get infected feathers, and then you're going into the vet to have them taken out. That happened with Peaches twice until I got
so,
good at making sure that all of her feathers were properly preened. But
I think
not
there's
a
one mean you don't have, but as cockatoos don't really molt, but when you have parrots that are molting, like my budgies, do you also get a sense for how many feathers they have? Because when these little guys start molting, and you look on the floor and think like, okay, my bird now has to be naked, and then you look at the bird and it's still fully feathered, but the floor is covered in feathers, then you know how many feathers they have.
Yeah. And I will tell people too, you don't pet their beak for more than just, a minute or so, because it can be a mating signal. But you see me pet Sugar's beak all the time. So when you when you've not just taken classes, but you also have the experience behind the classes, you can step outside. You know, you see people who like ride bicycles, right? Well, you don't see them riding the bicycle with their hands not holding the bicycle, right? You don't, but after they've been riding bikes, you see them do all kinds of crazy things, like take their hands off the handles, and some people are standing up with their hands off the handle. You can't do that when you start, and it's the same. It's same in behavior, except behavior is much more complex. So, you guys, your tailgate party there. Hmm. And even with the experience and the training, you could still make mistakes, which Jennifer Selleck's in her class makes that obvious. She makes a couple of mistakes. She makes a mistake with a horse and then goes right back to fix it because she doesn't want the horse to develop the wrong behavior. But she turns right to the camera that's on her and says, "Look, I made a mistake here. Let me show you how to fix it." So, bringing Bob in here with Lorelei was another attempt to try to. I mean, he made it for 45 minutes, which is a long time for him. But and I got him out when he was signaling. When he what he does is he kind of puts his head back, raises the feathers a little bit on the back of his neck, and then he'll start lifting, hit one foot. When he starts doing that, you have to stop him. So I got him out of here before he did anything, but still, he he's one of those birds that may know that if he does something, it's going to be a problem, but he's going to do it anyway. Eventually, that's the thing with Bob. So it's learning to cull that behavior early on, to extend the period of time, which I will keep trying him in here with Lorelei. I can't have him in here with Cause. Cause is one of those birds that if there's another bird around, she wants to go for him. But yet she's just a sweet little, you'd never guess. Oh, that sweet little bird. But put her in a room with another bird, and she's just highly territorial. You guys, Lucy. So there's two techniques: come bearing gifts and calm attention. If you can just start working with those, even if your bird is perfectly happy with you, you might as well get them to where they pay attention. Even when they're not happy, at some point in the future, your bird might start exhibiting behaviors that, nipping or uh, biting or flying away from you. All these behaviors can be dealt with if you already have that connection. So why wait until you have a problem? Unless, of course, you just like being like, you think, I want to be the typical American. I'm just going to pretend nothing's going to go wrong until, the earth opens up underneath me and I fall in. you know, it is a reputation that Americans have around the world of being thinking that they're better than everyone else and they can do everything, but we can't. I can't do everything, that's for sure. Always learning. Okay, Cecil, I know that was you because you turned around. He doesn't like you to touch him when he's under the canvas. The opposite of the other boy, KK. I was kind of fortunate when I learned ABA because I found Dr. Susan Friedman, I can't speak today, and at a time where I could focus on academics because she does show you a lot of how things are done, but it's more of an academic approach. And so she teaches veterinarians, vet assistants, that kind of thing. Um, but so I had that solid grounding when I took Jennifer's class. Although I don't think it was absolutely required. I think you can take the Animal Training 101, and the advantage of Dr. Friedman's course is it's tailored to parrots, where Animal Training 101 is any animal, but you just need to combine a knowledge of the species with a knowledge of ABA, and you can do all kinds of fun things. I remember the reaction I got when I showed a picture of Marley, the double yellow-headed Amazon, sitting on my shoulder to someone like, "You can't do that. He doesn't like men." You know, I didn't even have to go deep into the toolbox. I think all he wanted was, to know the person approaching him had something for him in mind in a positive way. I think we all prefer that. If you can remember that the image of your boss walking up to you and saying "good job" and handing you $100 two or three times a day, and that's the way that come bearing gifts is. And the calm attention is if you can sit in front of some. This is when I was a kid. I was involved in Scientology. When I was like 15 or 16, and one of the things they taught us to do was to sit and look at another person for hours without making emotion, without jerking or blinking your eyes, just to look at someone else. And at first, you're focused on it and everything is so intense. But after a while, you're just there with the other person and you're not doing anything. And that's what happens is you just learn to be there with the bird. It works really well. Has nothing to do with Scientology, of course, but that's a good illustration. Their training routines, what they call their TRs, include the ability to sit and observe. We don't get practice in that. They don't teach you to just not be threatened by the person who's sitting a few feet from you. But I think it has a good effect on the human who's doing it as well. So, what are you doing under there? Oh, it's just a tail. We got a lively bunch today. Snowball's sleeping. Jasmine's sleeping. She's not sleeping, but she's just sitting there. At least Sugar's preening. Right, Shug? Well, I wouldn't worry too much. San Diego's kind of far from Malibu, so I know they get big fires, but got the best fire people in the world there because California is known for their fires, but it's just that they get more and more millions of acres burned every year. And a lot of the vegetation is the kind of vegetation that likes fire. The fire comes blowing by it and it doesn't kill the root system and it grows back. So in a year or two, you got another fire situation. It's just the way it works. Sugar bird. You take some California brush and you put it in the oven and you put a piece of paper next to it and you turn the oven up. I wouldn't do this, but if you turn the oven up, it's going to be the chaparral, which is that scrub brush. It's going to be that catches fire first. So add to that a hotter climate with less humidity. Where I was living, we used to have humidity in the when I first moved there, humidity averaged around 30 or 40. And after 10 years, that's percent of humidity during the year. By the time I left, the average humidity was less than 10%. It had gone from a steppe region into a desert climate. So you're not going to do that. No, I'm not going to let you do that to him. If you can't see him, you might hurt him. And there are other techniques to work with birds that are basically telling you to go away. There's come on, brain. Desensitization, where you check their environment and make sure nothing's bothering them, and then you add things that are calming to their environment. And then you come closer and closer to their cage every day, but trust me, the come bearing gifts works a lot faster. You still have to do a little desensitization because sometimes they're just afraid of these because we can do this and they can't. All they can do is this. That's fine. That's all they need. They can grasp something and whack you on the head with it. Right, Cecil? Cecil says I'm the best at that.
Oh, he's so cute, training. Sweetheart.
These two guys they're good friends. They get along. Once in a while they'll have a spat, but most of the time it's.
I don't think that's normal in every relationship. Even my budgies sometimes have an argument. 5 minutes later, they are the best friends again. So.
After one of them says, "I'll give you the millet next time."
Hi, Shook. Shook, Shook, Shook.
Sugary bird.
Come over, Shook.
Come on over. I'll pet you. I'll pet the beak. Exactly what I tell most people not to do. But again, it's not going to cause any problems with her. She's already bonded to me after 2.5 years of trying to get her feathers back and enjoy her life. Let's put it that way. She was miserable, so weren't you, baby? Hmm? Is that your beak? Is that beak? Is that beak? Hmm. Now they have nerves in their beak too, so that's why it can be a mating issue. And if you're not bonded to a bird, you want to keep this down to a minimum. It's okay to pet them on the head, preen the feathers up here. That's all fine. But once you get beyond the point where they can actually reach, you don't want to mess with that. And the beak is one of those areas too. But in her case, most of the time she won't let me pet anywhere else. So pull your girl. A little under here, a little under there. Preen a feather occasionally, right? She has exhibited a lot of changes in her behavior in the last couple of weeks. One of them I'm working on is if I have to be careful. I need to take her out of the aviary ahead of other birds because she starts to act like the whole aviary is her territory. So much so that Lucy will actually run to me like, take me out first. She doesn't hurt anybody, but she gets right up at them and starts pushing them a little bit with her beak. You gonna whine at me? You whining at me, baby? Loose bird. Lucy girl. The boys are in the meeting now. It's a secret meeting, so I don't know what they're
Maybe
discussing.
they discuss about your Christmas present or your birthday present. Probably one of both. Shuggy,
I hope
is
so. I used to
Jasmine?
say that
Hmm?
Cecil and Peaches were trying to figure out how to. They were playing on how to take over the world because they had always chattered with each other.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool. They had a friendship going on.
These guys tend to bond for life, so
Falcon Sue is looking for Snowball. So let's look for Snowball again. So can you see him?
here, let me see if I can magnify the. Can change the camera. It takes a few
He's a
clicks to
bit
do it.
camouflaging, but actually right in front of us. There he is. To the right of Steve. In the background, we can see Jessie has her eyes open. She knows 5 more minutes and then she can start her routine.
Snowball's waking up too,
Cutie pie.
and Sugar's yelling at me.
Of course.
Well, wine. Sugar, I can't afford wine. I only get your wine. Once in a while, I would like a nice Ausnesa and some Gouda cheese. Gouda smoked Gouda cheese. Whoa! 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 Snowball. Snowball. Still sleeping. He's still got another 6 days on Baytril and meloxicam, so. What do you say, Shug? What do you say, Shug? Sugarbird, Sugarbird, Sugarbird. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'll have to make these guys some salsa. I made some salsa this morning. First time I've ever made it with habanero peppers. Jalapenos are between 25,000 and 8,000 heat units. Jalapenos are around 320,000 heat units. They could have that. That wouldn't bother them, but I used onions and garlic, and they can't have anything out of the onion family. But I can make some without that, can't I? I can use bell peppers or something instead of that. They like hot stuff. It doesn't bother them. So 320,000 heat units, and no big deal. For me, that's like one piece of broccoli covered in salsa, and then wait 5 minutes for my tongue to stop burning, right? And then do it again. That's the weird thing about humans. You punish yourself and you do it again. You big girl. Sugar, you want to say goodbye to everybody? Not to forget that we have merchandise out there that Amy has worked hard on. There's lots of Christmas stuff and other holiday stuff. And of course, there's the Babalu boxers, which are quite popular.
And we have a calendar again.
Yeah.
With all the birds in it. And sometimes Don is also a bit on the photo.
Who is that old man? Well, thanks, guys, for being here, and hope you'll come and visit us again next week. And I'm trying to switch cameras here. And see if we can give you one last look at the boys. Whoops, you boys.
Oh, there's one, and I see the second one peering out.
Hi, Cecil. He's upset with me for. You want me to put it back? You want me to put it back? All right.
Oh.
He didn't want me to uncover him. That's why he was giving me the open beak. It doesn't mean bite. It just means it's like, what? It's that shocked look on his face. Why did you uncover me? I was perfectly happy. Now he wants out. Now you want out. See how you are? Yeah, I know. You're shocked I did that. Shocked. Kind of like Claude Rains. I'm shocked to discover there's gambling going on here. Your winnings? Oh, thank you. All right, Cecil, say goodbye to everybody. Say goodbye, Cecil.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.